today advanced accounting buying cycle module. So let's begin. In this advanced accounting buying cycle module, we will see the feature and configuration, and we will learn how we can process the payment cycle in advanced accounting module. So in this today's video session, we will generating one purchase order, and against that purchase order we will made a purchase receipt, that means a GRN, and against that GRN we will doing a payment. We will book the purchase invoice in our accounting books, and against that purchase invoice we will make a payment entry. And before, once we book the payment invoice, we will take the general view of ledger, and we will check how accounting effects has made in ERPNext application system, and then we will make a payment entry against that purchase invoice, and finally we will see the accounting effect as well, where all these accounting effect goes when we do the payment entry, and how we can reduce our liability which is generated while booking the purchase invoice. So let's go to our ERPNext application and start all these transactions under the advanced accounting module. Now I have opened my web browser, and in the web browser's address bar I have entered my ERPNext URL, and I am landed on a login page. In this login form I have entered my username and password, and now I am clicking on login button. Once I logged in to ERPNext application, I am landed on home doc type or home page of ERPNext application. On my right hand side you will see the home doc types workspace, where you can get the shortcuts of item master, customer master, supplier master, and sell invoice as well. Also on left hand side you will navigate all the module list, which we called a module navigation bar. Under this you will get home module, helpdesk, accounting, buying, selling, stock, HR, manufacturing, quality, CRM, then projects, support, user, website, loans, payroll, bill, tool, ERPNext settings, integration, and ERPNext integration. So this way you can access any module from the module navigation bar of ERPNext application. Topic we are discussing about advanced accounting module, that is buying cycle. For that, first of all, as in our presentation we shown you, we are going to create one purchase order. For that we need to go to buying module. Under this buying module we need to click on purchase order, and here if you will find out add purchase order button, and I'm click on that add purchase order button, and I'm selecting the supplier. This is our supplier, and I'm entering the required by date. Now suppose I want this material tomorrow, I want this material, so I'm selecting tomorrow's date, and now I'm entering the material which I required. So I have entered the material, and now I'm entering the price. If this price is set previously to the your atom master, then it will automatically fetch, or you can enter manually. Now I am entering currently manually this price for this item, and now I'm going to click on save button to save this purchase order, and finally I'm submitting it for the final process. Now I have submitted this purchase order, and through the email communication from the menu button, I am sending this purchase order to supplier. Once this supplier sends me a material, then I am creating a purchase receipt. There are two ways. One is directly you can click on create button and you can select the purchase receipt option, or you need to go to the stock module, and under the stock module you will see there is option purchase receipt, and you may click on this purchase receipt and you may click on add purchase receipt button. Here you need to select the supplier. Once you select the supplier, you need to add his or her supplier invoice number, and you will get the item from the purchase order. Now I am clicking on purchase order. That means I am linking the purchase order. Here you will see that schedule date is tomorrow's date, and this pending purchase order I am selecting it and I am getting that item to make a purchase receipt entry. If I goes down, and I'll see that my item is linked from the purchase order and the rate is absolutely correct which we entered during the purchase order. By verifying these two things, now I am going to save this purchase receipt for the stock updation and I will submit it for the confirmation. Once I have submitted this purchase entry, my stock is get updated, and if you view the stock ledger here, you will get that our stock is updated into our stores, and this value is also updated to our stock valuation report. So go back to the accounting module or go back to the stock module and again open that purchase receipt and open that purchase receipt. Recently we saved this, and if you see the accounting ledger, then in the accounting ledger you will notice that our stock in hand is get debited worth rupees 35,000 rupees, because we prepare the GRN, we prepare the purchase receipt entry for this particular item against the purchase order number, and that's why that much of value stock is added to our stock valuation. That's why our stock in hand will get updated worth rupees 35,000 rupees. And another temporary ledger is there, that is called stock received but not billed. That means we have generated the liability of worth rupees 35,000 by purchasing this particular item. Still this liability is not paid. That's why if you goes to the charts of account, as earlier we have shown the chart of account, how chart of account is get affected, then you will see the clear picture. Now we will go back to, if you see that, as earlier I said, we have generated a liability worth rupees 35,000 rupees and our stock is get updated. So if you goes to, so let's go to open charts of account here and open the charts of account, and now I am selecting the company, and if you reload it, now if you observe that our source liability account is now increased by worth rupees 35,000 rupees. Earlier it was a 5 lakh rupees and now it is increased by 35,000 rupees because we have increased our liability. If you expand this, you check that current liability will also get affected worth rupees 35,000 rupees because we purchase the material, that is stock liability, worth rupees 35,000 rupees. So this is the impact we have made by doing the purchase. Now we will go back to accounting module and again we go back to the stock module and we open that purchase receipt, which current status is now to be billed. That means we need to book a purchase invoice if we want to make a payment, because our payment term was immediate after invoice receipt. We got this material, we make a purchase entry, that means we receive the invoice from the particular employee, a particular supplier. So I'm opening this and I'm selecting the company here. My company would be this company, and I am removing this filter. And see here our invoice is still pending for the bill payment for the supplier. So now if we want to make the payment for the supplier against this receipt, purchase receipt or GRN, we need to book a invoice. So I'm opening this purchase receipt and I'm going to create drop down option, and I'm booking this GRN into purchase invoice. So for that I am selecting the purchase invoice option. If I want to generate a debit note, then I have to select option as a purchase return. That means I am making the debit for the supplier. But now the item is perfectly okay. Our quality department accepted it. So we need to make a payment. So I am booking this purchase invoice against this GRN. So once I click on a purchase invoice option, I have landed on a new purchase invoice doc type where I am checking the amount and everything. And here my item is loaded on a grid, and under if any taxes or charges is applicable or connected to this invoice, I have checked that and I found everything is okay. Now I am saving this purchase invoice. So I have saved this and I am submitting this for the final payment confirmation. So now I have saved this purchase invoice, and if you see that my purchase invoice will get saved and its status now become unpaid. That means we are not made any payment for this supplier against this invoice. There are two ways. If we want to make a payment for the supplier, there are two ways. One is go to the create drop down button and select the payment or option payment, or if, as earlier said, if you want to generate a debit note or a return note, then you can generate a debit note directly over here. Or if you want, go to accounting, under the node of shortcut there is option payment entry. From here also you can make a payment entry for your supplier. For that, click on payment entry, click on add payment entry button. Obviously payment type will be a pay because we are paying the payment for the Supplier, here you need to select a proper company. Now I'm selecting this company. My payment mode would be a check, and I'm selecting the party type. It is my supplier. So I'm selecting the party type as a supplier, and I'm selecting a particular party to whom I'm going to make a payment. So I have selected my party, and now I'm fetching the details. Here, if you goes to the accounts, I need to enter a payment amount which I'm going to pay, and sorry, I need to select a account from where I'm going to pay this. So I have selected my bank account number, and my account balance for creditors is minus 35,000 rupees. So my account balance is for like 75,000 rupees, current account balance is. So I am going to enter a paid amount of rupees 35,000 rupees. And here, once I enter the paid amount, for reference, I am fetching the outstanding invoices from this particular supplier. So I'm clicking on get outstanding invoice, and here I'm not doing anything. I'm just simply keep the filter which is on posting date, from date, between date, on which date I posted these invoices. So if I get outstanding, if I click on get outstanding invoice button, then my pending invoice will be get listed down in a payment reference table, and I'll check that invoice number and amount. If everything is correct, then I need to come to down in the transaction ID. Here I need to enter a check reference number, check reference date for particular payment. So I'm selecting, obviously it's today's date because I'm doing a payment for today, and now I'm saving this payment entry. Which payment entry goes for the final confirmation to the accounts department, and the account senior finance manager or senior account manager will submit this for the final confirmation of the payment. And then once we have saved this, now this payment entry is made successfully. If you observe the ledger of this particular supplier, here you will see that our creditors account is now get debited, and HDFC bank account get credited, and my closing balance becomes zero. If you see that, again, if you observe our charts of account or our financial statements, here I'm opening the charts of account, and now you have seen that our liability now is get decreased by 35,000 rupees, because earlier it was a 5 lakh 35,000 rupees, and now it get decreased because we made the payment from the bank. And if you observe the bank account as well, then it is also get affected. Earlier the current asset was bank account, bank balance was 4 lakh 75,000 rupees. Now it becomes 4 lakh 40,000 rupees, and our stock asset is also get debited 35,000 rupees because we have purchased a laptop. And now here, if you see that our current liabilities also become zero because we made the payment for the supplier, and we paid all liabilities for the supplier. So this way you can check your statement. In a financial statement, if you check a profit and loss account, still it is under a loss worth rupees 25,000 rupees, because we not generated any a single rupees income and we made only the payments. So this way you will find out the accounting effects in a advanced accounting part 1 of a buying module. So thank you very much for your patience and attention.